Alright, so today we're going to look at sort 2. So sort 2, we're focusing on prefixes. Remember, a prefix is the part that comes at the beginning of a base word. So we add a prefix to give a base word extra meaning. So let's see our prefixes that we have today. We have pre, so we hear pre in pre-war. We hear pre in prefix. We hear pre in predetermined, pre-existing, preoccupied, and preposition. So we don't say preposition. This one's a little bit of an oddball, where we're going to connect that pre with the P there. So we're going to call it a preposition. Alright, so do you know what pre has in common? What does pre at the beginning of all of these mean? Well, if you said before, you are correct. When I add pre to the beginning of a word, it means before. So a good example of where we use all the time is preview. What does that mean? It means what we see before we view our regular show. So at the movies, you go see a preview. Previews come before you view or before you see the main thing you came to see. Alright, let's look at our next one. For. So look at all of our words that have for in there. Forearm, forward, foreordain, forewarn, forethought, forecourt. Do you have an idea on what for might mean? So for means at the front or before. So it's similar to pre, but it's going to also stress this front. So an example might be your forehead. So we see that prefix for at the beginning, and what it means is it's at the front of your head. It's at that very beginning where your head starts. So whenever I see for at the beginning, it means you're at the front, the beginning, or you're before something happens. So an example is forewarn means you're warning someone before it happens. Alright, let's look at another one. So we have post. So post is going to go with post-war. Post will go with post-season, post-date, post-colonial. What do you think post means when we see all of these together? This happened post-war. This happened post-season. Well, if you said post means after, you are correct. If something happened post-war, that means it happened after the war. Now let's look at our final prefix. After, afterward, afternoon, afterthought, aftertaste. What do you think after might mean? Well, this one's probably simple. This after just means after. So if something is afternoon, that means it is past 12 o'clock. Something is an aftertaste. We use that to describe the taste that comes after you eat something or after you drink something. So you might think that Brussels sprouts have a bad aftertaste. They might taste okay as soon as you eat them, but once you've had them in your mouth and you've swallowed them, you get that funky, that funny little taste. That is an aftertaste. So let's look. Do you notice anything in common about pre and for? They have almost that same meaning. They can both mean before. Do you know anything that you see that they have in common for post and after? They're linked as well. Post and after have that same meaning. So let's look. If something is preseason, what does that mean? It means it's before the season. If something predates, something else, what does that mean? It means it came before a certain date. So if I said Mr. Wembley predates his students, that means I came before the date or the birth of my students. Prejudge. What do you think prejudge means? It means you judge someone before you know them. You judge them before. And my next one is foreknowledge. What does that mean? If you said it means you have knowledge before something happens, you are correct. So let's use all of this, take one last good look at your prefix definitions. I now want you to tell me, what do you think afterthought means? If you said something along the lines of, it's the thought that you have after something, you are correct. So an afterthought might be, you get in a fight with somebody. So that's your initial reaction. But your afterthought is when you are thinking of those consequences after you have done it. What do you think post-colonial means now? If you said it was after the time of colonials, or after the time that colonies were made, so an example of post-colonial would be after our pilgrims arrived, after our 13 colonies became the United States. Those would be my post-colonial times. Post mean after. Alright, what you're going to do is you are going to cut out your words, sort them into your 4 categories, and then just say each word as it appears in that category. Once you've done that, move on to the next thing in your guided reading menu. Excellent job, guys.